I was 15, and one of my favorite hobbies was exploring the woods and stuff. So, I'm a few miles away from home, and I find this trailer on a hill. The only thing keeping this trailer from rolling down was a stump. The stump looked rotten. I turned around since it was getting dark, but I could see some lights in the trailer. Spooky, right? I'm gonna need some help. So, I got my buddy, we'll call him Desmond, to come with me in the woods the next day. We get inside the trailer, and you can see some candles near the windows, which explains the lights. But what makes this trailer unique was all the JFK posters, and badges, and pins around. We went in quietly. It didn't have a door, so easy peasy. We used hand signals, just in case we saw something, or someone. It had one locked door, which was to the master bedroom. Me and Desmond agreed, let's kick the door down. Before then, we felt a slight shift, like the stump was giving away. But don't worry, I whispered to Desmond. We'll just kick down the door, take a peek, and run out. We kicked the door wide open, and saw several mannequins and dolls. They all had JFK faces printed on them, like someone printed out pictures and just pinned them on there. The worst parts? A dead pig in the corner, and beside it was a man covered in blood. I think it was the pig's blood. He had a belt tied around his left arm, and there were syringes all around him. We bolted out, and you can hear the stump starting to give way. We ran though, and only heard the trailer roll down the hill. Next day we went back and explored the trailer again. This time, it was on its side, so it was weird. But the dead pig and the man was gone, and so were some of the mannequins. I haven't been back since, and don't ever plan on it. This is about 4.5 years ago, and I was 19 at the time. I'm driving back from the gym one night at around 1 a.m., decently foggy. I passed by a crosswalk for a local trail called Iron Horse Trail. It has sensors that light up if someone is going across. They go off right as I pass it. I look back in my rearview mirror, and there's a person standing right there in the middle of the crosswalk. He's not even 10 feet behind the car, and it would have been impossible for him to be there, with me just having driven through it. I get to a stop sign about 100 yards away. I take a deep breath and look behind again. The same person is now under a sidewalk stoplight, not even 15 feet behind me. I floor it and I'm freaking out. I drive and just drive. I run a stop sign and keep going. I'm way past the turn from my house, and I'm at least 5 turns off. I just stop at the next stop sign to backtrack and turn right. I lose my breath because mid-turn I see him in the middle of an unlit street with his back turned against me. I just feel thousands of shivers go down my spine and hold the gas down. I blow right past him, or what I thought was him. I keep going down this long stretch and I look back. He's just standing there. I stop. I watch his outline just stand there, and suddenly I blink, and he's gone. I don't even have a second, and I feel something land on my roof with a metallic clang while the car violently shakes. I gas it. I see a person roll off of my roof and off my bumper. I just drive and drive and drive for half an hour and hurry home when I calm down. I finally fall asleep in my bed. I was still living with my parents. And I wake up the next morning to my mom saying, "Matt, were you racing around last night? I heard your car a few blocks away. And why does the roof look like something fell on it?" I'm groggy, but I get up, thinking that it was all a bad dream. I go into the garage with my mom and look at the roof. It's got marks on it like something had landed on it, light things and small dents like hail. I look in my rear window and see a very clear handprint on it, and a boot scuff on my rear bumper with finger marks trailing by the bottom of it on the accumulated dust. I lost any and all words I had. I didn't tell a soul, and I still get shivers just thinking about it, and I couldn't drive that way for weeks. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, my older brother, who was 10 at the time, and I were playing in the basement. I remember this very distinctively because I still can't explain what happened. It was just me and my brother in the house. My mom went shopping and my dad was at work. We were playing in the basement when all of a sudden a closet door randomly swings open. We both stopped and stared at the closet when a dark entity floated out and floated towards us. My older brother took off running upstairs and left me behind by myself. I remember just staring at this black mess, and I have no idea what it was. I blacked out, and when I came to it, I was crying on a stairwell, with my mom asking me what I was doing and what happened. I was sobbing and saying that there was a ghost downstairs, but she didn't believe me or my brother. To this day, my brother and I swear we saw a ghost or dark entity floating out of the closet. The weird thing was that my brother slept downstairs in one of the rooms, and at night he claims that he could hear someone or something walking around outside his room. One time, his friend stayed over and slept on the floor. His friend claimed that there was something staring at him. A cousin of mine stayed over one night and claimed that he saw a dark mass roam from room to room in the basement. He got up to check it out and found nothing in the rooms. He sat back down in the main room where my brother and I were playing, when he claimed he saw a dark figure staring at him at the end of the hallway. He bolted upstairs. We all sat down and talked about these experiences and came to a conclusion that someone was possibly murdered because the house had a really big crawl space, and the crawl space entrance was located in the closet that the black mass came out of. So, to keep our sanity, me and my brother just concluded that it was probably someone who died there. I grew up dirt poor in western South Dakota. The country I lived in was larger than Delaware, with a population of about 30,000 people. When I was bored, which was frequently, I'd go to the library in town. I'd pick a random book and start reading. One of the books I read was a history of the area, and one of the stories dealt with my stepfather's grandpa, who annexed some property in the 30s during the Dust Bowl. My grandmother was kind of well off, but easily the most evil person I'd ever met. I asked her about my late step-great-grandfather's annexation about a week or two later. "The Millers," was how she answered, no other explanation. It took me asking aunts and uncles, but the story went that during one of the particularly horrid dust storms, a family called the Millers had abandoned their property, just left the place, and went to greener pastures in California. I asked around to where the property used to be. They mentioned it was on the southeast side of the property, by some mini Badlands area we called Breaks. When I asked if the house and everything was still there, they said no, and that it was a waste of time. I was curious though, and my favorite topics were history and archaeology. So one afternoon, I went to where I thought they were talking about. A bit of a rise, in the middle of otherwise completely uninteresting plains. Nothing. A couple of more weeks went by. I was probably 11 or 12. I went down that way again on my dirt bike, and found myself in a sort of V between some breaks. I saw what I thought was a weird pyramid of some sort and went to check it out. What it ended up being was an angle of a roof, sticking out of the ground. I went around to the far side of it, and saw an attic vent. Being more curious than cautious, I pulled the framing around the vent and opened it. There was a bunch of blown dirt around, but otherwise the area was mostly intact. Not much in it, but it was an unfinished attic, with one of those old school ladders halfway down. When my eyes adjusted to the light, I'm fairly sure I saw something lying on the floor. I can't tell you what it was, because I was out there so fast, I outran photons. I rode back to my grandma's house, but there was no way on the planet I was going to tell that woman I went to that place. So I waited for a week and told my cousin Brad. Brad was slightly more intelligent than a piece of driftwood. He called BS and wanted to see. I was having none of this, but I told him I'd take him there anyway, since I wasn't a chicken. We got to where it was, where I know I was, but there wasn't a house, there wasn't a roof. There were dirt bike tracks, there were footprints, but it looked like I just walked around for a while in the dirt. Brad gave me crap about it, went down and told my other cousins what I said. Even a couple of my aunts found out and gave me crap. But to this day, I swear it happened. When I was younger, I used to think I was having dreams of an old lady in a blue dress and cat eye glasses, sitting at the end of my bed singing to me. She'd always sing the same song and then leave. One night I followed her into my brother's room. He's younger than me and was around 5 years old. Instead of singing to him, he woke up and they began talking. After like 20 minutes, my mother came in and asked what we were doing. My brother said, "I'm just talking to the lady in the blue dress." She made us go back to bed. I woke up still thinking that it was a dream. My mom told me the next morning she didn't want me sneaking out of bed anymore in the middle of the night to play with my brother. I asked her what she was talking about, and she gave me her version of what she saw the night before. To this day, I believe what I saw was real, and that every night that old woman would sing to me. I get goosebumps just thinking about it, but she stopped singing to me soon after that, though people in my family still caught my brother speaking to nothing on numerous occasions. A while later, an aunt came to visit from down south and refused to come into our house. After seeing an old woman in cat glasses standing in the upstairs window, she came in asking who was upstairs, and I freaked out when my mother told her no one and let her search the house.